Welcome everybody to Yoga Hour. My name is Cadre. Nice to see everybody, kind of, from a distance. So limitations. Limitations is the word I picked for today, or limitations or boundaries. And at some point, or at many points in our lives, we discover our limitations. And they change daily, even weekly, monthly. They change as we change, as we age, as we discover new things. Our limitations are not, they're a moving target, basically. Be it physically or physical or emotional or other. Specific to yoga practice, anyone who's done yoga, maybe even just once, has pushed beyond their limitation and possibly endured an injury. I know that I've had several injuries from yoga. Hamstring is one of the main ones I've had. I've had a shoulder one as well. But there isn't a time where I don't come to my mat where my hamstrings basically tell me, this is your limit. Because I have tight hamstrings, and I think I will always have. So they make me certainly aware of my limitations, and I respect them for sure. Yoga offers some of the discipline we need to establish those boundaries, to discover our limitations, and a reminder to respect them. We all have limitations, and learning them occurs through self-awareness. So in yoga, we refer to this as being the witness to our practice, in a sense. We practice self-awareness by pausing, noticing where we are, how we feel. On our mats, we have the opportunity to dive deeper within that self-awareness, as the time we make for ourselves on the mat is just that, for ourselves. So when you practice today, check in throughout class. See how you're feeling, notice where your limits are and respect them. Don't push beyond your limitations. Set boundaries with yourself. Be comfortable saying no, and be confident in the decision you make both on and off the mat. All right. So let's settle in. And find your comfortable seat. You can softly close down your eyes. And let this be a transition from what you may have been doing just prior to the start of class. Maybe you were cozy on your sofa. Maybe you were playing with your dog. Maybe you were outside looking at the beautiful mountains. But whatever it was you were doing just prior to class, set that aside and start to pay attention to your breath. And we'll take a few breaths here, and softening in your shoulders, softening your jaw. Keep focus on your breath, full inhalation and full exhalation. Now I'll start class with one Om. So place your palms together at heart center. And lift the brightness of your heart gently into your thumbs. Keep your chin parallel to the floor, so chin out of chest. Full inhale and full exhale. And inhale once again. Bring your chin to your chest. Acknowledge yourself for carving this time out to take care of yourself, to practice, and to respect all your limitations. Release your hands, bring your chin out of your chest, and open your eyes. Okay, right hand just on the outside of your left knee, left hand behind you. Lift and lengthen, so create space in your spine first, and then gently, slowly twist over to the left. Keep both sit bones down to your mat. Originate the twist from your belly first, then your chest, and then last you can bring your head around. And keep your breath going throughout class. Some poses we have a tendency to hold our breath, which is maybe letting us know that that might be our limit. So just keep deep breathing and backing off a little bit. Come back through center, left hand outside of right knee, right hand behind you. Lift and lengthen first, and then twist gently over to the right. Keep both sit bones down to your mat. Again, originate the twist from your belly, and then your chest, and last your head. And take a full inhale, and exhale, maybe twist just a little more. And then come back through center. So if you have 2 blocks today, they will come in handy. If you don't, that's fine. Sometimes if you have a chair close to you, or even books, or maybe a couple towels or something you can raise the floor a little bit. And also a strap, if you have a strap handy, or a belt. We will get to the strap today, I know it. Okay, come into child's pose. So Balasana. Knees outer hip width apart. Big toes come to touch behind you. Your hips down and back towards your heels. And then you bring your torso down to your mat. Arms out in front. Bring your forehead to your mat. And lift your armpits away from the mat. Keep reaching forward with your hands. So hands, arms, shoulder width apart. And reaching back and down with your hips. And playlist, I always forget this part. If you want to listen along on Spotify, my playlist is under my first name, CY, so Cadre CY, and today I have spirals, so it's CY spirals if you want to listen along. And then lift your forehead, walk your hands back just about an inch or so, and walk them over to the right, keeping them shoulder width apart. And as you exhale, bring your forehead, chest down towards your mat. So you're creating maximum distance from your hands to your hips, and keeping both hips back and down towards your heels. Big inhalation and big exhalation. And then walk your hands back through center and off to the left. Again, maximum distance between your hands and your heels and hips, keeping your hands shoulder width apart. Maybe bringing your forehead and chest down towards your mat. And come back through center. And come into hands and knees. Bring your knees and feet all the way together. Hands shoulder width apart. Spread your fingers wide, index fingers pointed straight ahead. Extend your right leg back behind you with your toe touching the floor. and then out to the side, and then place your foot down, kind of like a warrior one foot, so your heel is the widest part of your foot. And press that foot down and away, so you should feel this in your inner thigh, and gaze forward with your chest forward. Belly button towards your spine. Deep breath in. And then bring that leg back behind you, toe to the floor, and then extend it off to the left. And trying not to let your hips go with it. So keeping your hips squared more towards the center of the mat. It's automatically going to want to go in that direction, so just resist slightly. And then bring that knee back to center. So knees still together. Left leg back behind you, point your toe, and then off to the left. Place your foot down on the floor. Hopefully you're not kicking something in your house. Heel the widest part of that foot, and then extend and press it away from you, lifting your chest, gazing forward. Tuck your belly button towards your spine. Press into the mat with both hands. And then bring that leg back behind you, point your toe, and then off to the right. And then back to center. Have a seat on your heels. Interlace your hands all the way to the webbing. And then flip your palms away from you and up towards the ceiling. Straighten your arms. Squeeze your knees in. Belly button towards your spine. Lift your chest. Lift your chin out of your chest. Press up and back with your arms. And then release that and come back to hands and knees. This time bringing your knees under your hips and tucking your toes, or tops of feet on the floor, but tucking your toes so that they're in line with your knees. So when you look back, you don't see your toes turned in or turned out. They're just in line with your knees, parallel to the long edge of your mat. Take a full breath in and exhale. Come into cow pose, pressing your hands and knees down and apart. And then inhale, reverse the movement into cat. I'm sorry, the other way around. So cow pose. And exhale into cat pose. And continue with your breath. Cow pose. You bring your abdomen towards your mat, sit bones towards the ceiling, chin out of chest. And as you exhale, cat pose, round your back. Bring your chin towards your chest. And continue with your breath. You can also move slightly side to side. If that feels good, wake up your body. Then come to a neutral spine and walk your hands towards the front of your mat. Curl your toes under. You're gonna come into downward facing dog. So keeping your knees bent, you're gonna lift your hips up and back. And shifting hands down and forward and feet down and back. Bring your armpits away from your mat. Relax your head and neck. Make sure your fingers are spread evenly, index fingers pointed straight ahead. And pressing your hands down, forward, and even bringing a little bit more weight to the inner edge of your hand. Maybe working your hips or your legs towards straight. So straightening one leg at a time. Working your heels down towards your mat. And I always keep my feet about hip width apart in down dog. And take a full breath in and exhale out. And then gaze between your hands and step your right foot forward between your hands. Grab your blocks if you have them. You can place them on the highest setting or mid setting. So back heel vertical, back leg straight and strong, knee not beyond your front ankle. So shin is vertical. You have your blocks, or if you have a chair to hold on to just to bring the floor closer, that's fine. Press into your blocks, lift your chest, gaze forward, and press your feet down and apart. From here, keep your left hand planted where it is, right hand up to your right thigh, and then twist across your belly and bring your arm towards the ceiling. Maximum distance between your hands, so you're opening across your chest. Again, you're originating the twist from your belly, so your left lower belly area, left lower ribs across to your right chest. And you can gaze up. Option to drop your knee back onto your mat or stay in the lunge. Bring your hand back down to your block. Plant your hands and come into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Sit bones up high, armpits away from your mat, relaxing your head and neck. And then gaze between your hands and step your left foot forward. Again, knee over ankle, not beyond. Back heel vertical, back leg straight and strong. If you have your blocks, place them on either side of your front foot. Press into your blocks, gaze forward, chest forward. A few deep breaths here. And keep your right hand planted where it is, left hand just above left thigh. Press in and twist over to the left, bringing your top arm vertical. Again, maximum distance between your hands, so you're opening across your chest, squeezing your legs towards each other, feet down and apart. And then bring that hand back down to your mat and step back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Full breath in, exhale out. And gaze between your hands and step your right foot forward once again. You have your blocks, place them outside your front foot. And from here, your back heel is going to stay vertical. You're going to work your front leg towards straight. You may want to adjust your blocks. So straightening that front leg, maybe your toes come up, maybe they don't. Maybe your back heel comes down towards your mat. Keep squeezing your legs in towards each other. Pyramid pose variation. And then exhale, come back to your lunge, chest forward. And then inhale, come back, straightening your front leg, maybe bringing your toes up, maybe working your back heel down. And inhale, exhale, back to lunge. And from here, you're going to go into warrior 3 or warrior 2. So pivot your back heel down to your mat and bring your arms up and parallel to the floor. So warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Knee is in line with your ankle, so shin vertical, front thigh parallel or towards parallel to the mat, to the floor. Your back heel is the widest part of your foot, and your front heel is lined up with the arch of the back foot. Lift your chest, stretch your spine, tuck your tailbone down and under. Gaze over your right fingertips. And then bring your right elbow just on top of your right thigh, left arm up and across, so your biceps towards your ear, extended side angle. Option here to place your block and bring your hand on your block, or even bring your hand down to your mat on the inside of your front foot. Maximum distance between your hand and your back foot. And then come back to your downward facing dog. And take a breath. Gaze between your hands, step your left foot forward. So you're in your lunge. Again, your front shin vertical, back heel vertical, back leg straight and strong. Lift your chest, gaze forward, and press into the mat or your blocks or whatever you're using with your hands. Tone your abdomen. Tone your glutes. And then take a full inhale, and as you exhale, straighten your front leg. Working your heel down, back heel down towards your mat. And then come back into your lunge position, lifting your chest, gazing forward. And exhale, straighten your front leg. Squeezing your legs towards each other. And then come back to your lunge. And from here, you're going to pivot your back heel down to your mat and bring your arms up parallel to the floor for warrior two. So again, your back heel is the widest part of your foot. Pressing your feet down and apart, tucking your tailbone under, lifting your chest, maybe gazing over your left fingertips. Attempting to keep your shoulders in line with your hips. So you're not reaching way far or way far back. You're centered over your hips. Left knee comes slightly out to the left, so you can see your first 3 to 4 toes. Keep breathing. And inhale, lift your chest, maybe sink a little lower. And then bend your left elbow, bringing it on top of your left knee. And right arm up and over, palm facing down towards the floor for extended side angle. Tone your glutes, tailbone down and under. Tone your abdomen, lift your chest, maybe gaze up towards the ceiling. And then bring your hands surrounding your front foot and come back into downward facing dog. Few deep breaths here. Check with your hands. Make sure your fingers are spread evenly. Index fingers pointed straight ahead. Hips up and back. Heels down towards the mat. Full breath in. And exhale, come into plank pose. Top of a push-up. Option to bring your knees down to your mat. We won't stay here too long. So heels vertical, legs straight and strong, chest forward, gaze forward, press into the mat, grip the mat with all your 10 fingertips. Tone your abdomen, tone your glutes. Stay here, or option to do 0 to 5 push-ups. More doable with your knees down to your mat, keeping your elbows tucked in to your sides, not allowing your shoulders to round too far forward. And then come on down to your mat. Place your palms outside your lungs, elbows pointed towards the ceiling and tucked in to your sides. We're gonna go into Cobra Pose or Bujangasana. So tops of feet on the floor, lift and lengthen each leg back behind you. And as you lift up your chest and your head, drag your hands back towards your toes. So you're not moving your hands at all. You're pressing them down and dragging, like you're dragging your chest towards the front of your mat. So inhale, baby cobra, shoulders down towards your spine. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra pose. Press your toes into your mat. And exhale, down. One last time. Inhale, lift up. If you can go into straight arms, if that's in your practice, you can do so. And lower down. Curl your toes under. Stiffen your legs, so tone all the muscles in your legs. Squeeze your elbows in towards your sides. And with knees on or off the floor, press up into plank pose and back into downward facing dog. And take a breath here. And then step, walk, hop, fly, whatever you want to do. Get to the front of your mat in your forward fold. All 10 fingers outside your front toes, your feet. Bend your knees slightly and fold your forehead towards your shins. Inhale, lift and lengthen, hands to your shins. And then bring your hands to your hips, point your elbows back, bend your knees, and slowly come on up. So in Tadasana, lift your arms overhead, point your palms in. Two options, you can grab your wrist with the opposite hand, or you can bring your palms together. Lift up, lengthen through your spine first, and then bring your torso to the right, hips to the left. I don't know if they can see the top. Maybe. There we go. If you have your palms together, press them together, squeeze your face with your arms. Maybe even bring your left shoulder back slightly so you're as sideways as possible. And then option to stay here or root down into your left leg and lift your right leg, point your toes out to the side. And then come back to center. Switch the cross of your fingers or grab your opposite wrist. Lift up, so go for length first, and then bring your torso to the left, hips towards the right. Again, be as sideways as possible. So right shoulder back slightly. Keep your chin out of your chest. Tone your thighs, tone your glutes, tone your abdomen. Maybe bring your left leg out to the side. So your big toes just on your mat. And then come back through center and pause in Tadasana. Okay, tree pose, Vrikshasana. So root down through your right leg, So right leg strong. Slide your kneecap up so your thigh is toned. And then angle your left knee out to the side. So you can work with your toes down to your mat or assist with your hand, grabbing your ankle and placing your heel at the root of your inner thigh. Knee out to the side, keeping your hips squared towards the front of your mat and level. Lift up through your chest, palms together at heart center. Squeeze your foot and thigh together. Always avoid your knee joint. And stay here or bring your arms overhead. Gaze slightly up towards the ceiling. And inhale, maybe stretch up a little further. And if you wobble out, just come right back. And then palms back down to heart center and release your foot to the mat. Standing on your left foot, so rooting down through that leg. So tone the thigh, slide your kneecap up, lift your chest, angle your right knee out to the side, and then place your heel, the root of your inner thigh, or wherever is comfortable for you. So wherever your limit is, you're there. And stay there and don't go beyond. So right knee out to the side. Again, hips level, hips towards the front of your mat. Palms together at heart center. Lift your chest. Full inhalation. And exhale. Maybe reach your arms up overhead. Gazing up towards the ceiling. Pressing your foot and your thigh together. Lifting through your chest, reaching up, up, up. And then palms together at heart center and release your foot down to the mat. Garudasana, so this is eagle pose. Balancing up, come to a hatha huddle. So just bending your knees very slightly. Place your hands just on top, above your knees. So lift your chest. You're gonna lift your left knee up and aim your left knee towards your right shoulder. And once you get to your limit, then cross your legs over, or cross your legs, cross your left knee over your right, and squeeze your shins together. Option to also tuck your left big toe behind your Achilles. If you get that for free, don't force it. So squeeze your legs together, lift your chest. You're trying to keep your shoulders, head in line with your hips. Palms together, heart center, sit low. Stay here, bring your arms out to the side. Bring your left arm under. Grab your shoulders. Backs of hands together or palms together. Lift your chest, gaze just above your fingertips. Sit low, squeeze into the center, and then come on out and take a breath. Did very well. Bend your knees, come back into your hatha huddle. Then lift your right leg up and aim your right knee towards your left shoulder. So high, and then cross your right knee over your left. Squeeze your shins together, squeeze your thighs together. Lift your chest. So head, shoulders in line with hips. And place your palms together, heart center, and sit low. Option, bring your arms out to the side. Cross your right under your left. Grab your shoulders, maybe wobble. Backs of hands together, or bring your palms together. Lift your chest. This is a very slight back bend. Maybe sit a little lower. Keep squeezing your legs together. And then come on out. And into Tadasana. Okay, so if you have your blocks, you can place them at the front of your mat again. Take a sip of water. And we're going to go into Parvarita Trikonasana, so revolved triangle. So coming to the front of your mat, you're going to take a step back with your left foot about 3/4 of the way. Your left toes are angled in sharply, so your left toes pointed towards the left side of your mat. Hips and chest squared forward, squeezing your hips in towards the center, squeezing your right thigh and left thigh in towards the center, though they're not touching. Lift your chest, tone your thighs, bend at your waist, bring your torso down towards parallel. Reach your left arm out in front. You're going to angle slightly to the right, and then bring your left arm down towards your mat. So block option, you can place your block on the outside of your front foot, on the inside of your front foot, or you can place your hand on your shin as well. Wherever your hand is, press in, and you're going to twist to the side, to the right. So again, originating the twist in your belly and then across your chest, keeping your head in line with your front toes. Your right hip, tack it back. So it's a big squeeze from your right hip to your left inner thigh, maybe lifting your top arm towards the ceiling. Keep stretching across your chest. This is a balance pose for sure. Maybe gaze up or down. Keep breathing. And then come on out. And step forward with your left. And come into Tadasana. That is not an easy pose. Take a breath. Okay. Step back with your right foot. So angling your right foot in sharply, so your toes are pointed towards the right corner of your mat. Squeeze your hips towards each other. Thighs are toned. Lift your chest. And then bend at your waist, bringing your torso towards parallel. So keep the engagement in your thighs. Tack your left hip back behind you. Place your block wherever you choose. So on the inside, outside of your front foot. And then lengthen through your chest, through your spine first. And attempting to keep your head in line more with your front foot. Twist open, so you use your hand and press into the mat, press into the block. Twist open, originating from your belly and then to your chest, maybe lifting your top arm towards the ceiling. So again, maximum distance between your hands. Keep squeezing your thighs in towards each other. Keep breathing. And then come on out. And step forward with your right and come into Tadasana. Okay. Lift your arms overhead, palms facing in. So Utkatasana, power pose, bend your knees, sit low. Keeping your chest lifted, arms up. And from here, maybe without using your hands, sit lower. Arms will come towards parallel. Sit back onto your hips and come into Ardha Navasana. So half boat. So shins are parallel to the floor. Arms extended out. Toes pointed. Tone your abdomen. Keep breathing. Maybe extend your legs straight into full boat or Navasana. Squeeze your legs towards each other. Lift your chest. Rebend your knees. So your shins are parallel. Bring your arms on the inside of your right knee. Lean onto your left hip. So you're going to shift your legs out slightly and come into, it's called cosmic abs. So it's like a bicycle. The slower you go, the more difficult it is. And then shift onto your right hip, arms on the inside of your left knee, and continue. Again, every time I do abs, I think music is the best thing because it kind of distracts you from this. So keep going, shifting from side to side, pointing your toes, reaching with your arms. Make sure you balance it out. And then come back to Navasana. Bring your feet down to your mat. And then maybe, without using your hands, bring yourself back up to standing Tadasana. Okay. Take a breath. And then inhale, reach up, and exhale, forward fold. So hands down outside your feet. Inhale, lift and lengthen, flat back, gaze forward. And as you exhale, come into downward facing dog. So again, check with your hands. Make sure your hands are shoulder width apart or slightly wider. Fingers are spread evenly. Index fingers pointed straight ahead or parallel to one another. Relax your head and neck. Lift your armpits away from your mat. Hips up and back. Heels down towards your mat. Shift forward slightly. You're going to bend your right knee and place your right knee just behind your right hand. Right heel to the left hip. So this is Pigeon Pose. Wiggle your back foot further back, top of foot on the floor. So hips come down and forward. Your back leg lined up with the long edge of your mat. Option here, you can also put a block under your right hip or a blanket. Place your hands on your mat, drag your hands back towards your heels. If you're going to fold forward, make sure you lengthen first. So similar to Cobra, bring your chest through and then come down onto your forearms. Come down onto your chest. Bring your forehead towards your mat or on the floor. And keep breathing. Your right foot, make sure the pinky toe edge of your foot is pressing into the mat, whether your foot is pointed or flexed, typically pointed, press it into the mat. Make sure you don't have any knee pain here. If you do, you want to back out of the pose. And then lift your chest, plant your hands, option to bend your back knee. You can reach back with your left hand, maybe grab the big toe edge, maybe bring that heel towards your hip. So it's just adding a little bit of a quad stretch. So bringing your heel towards your hip, placing your hand more towards the middle of your front of your mat, pressing down, lifting your chest, gazing forward. Keep your belly engaged, so tone your abdomen. Keep squeezing your knees into the mat. Release that foot. Plant your hands, shoulder width apart, curl your back toes under, lift that leg, and then shift into downward dog. Just momentarily, take a breath, and exhale out. And then bring your left knee to your mat, just behind your left hand, left heel to your right hip, and back leg down onto your mat. So top of foot on the floor, line up your back leg with the long edge of your mat, chest forward. Again, make sure your left toe, your pinky toe is into the mat. And then drag your hands back towards your toes, back foot. And maybe come down onto your right or to your forearms, bringing your chest to your mat, maybe your forehead towards your mat. Again, you can always place a blanket under your left hip. And if you feel any pain at all, of course, come out of the pose. I think it's always implied in any class to come out, to respect your limits and come out of any pose if it's uncomfortable or if there's pain, for sure. And child's pose is always a great option for any of these asanas that we do. Lift your chest, plant your left hand to the center of your mat. If you want to do the quad stretch, bend your back leg, reach back, grab your foot, and maybe bring your foot heel towards your bum. Keep your chest forward. I think my quads today are telling me hello. Keep pressing into the mat with both knees. And then release that leg. Shift your weight onto your left hip, bend your right knee, and bring that leg out in front. So bending your knees, feet to your mat. So if you have a strap or a belt, it's not necessary, but if you do, it will come in handy. So have a loop in your strap. And we're gonna lie down on our back. Bending your knees, so knees about hip width apart, feet follow, so hip width. Now bend your left knee in towards your chest, lifting your head and chest off the mat. Wrap your loop around the ball of your foot. So if you don't have this, you can also, with your first two fingers and thumb, grab your big toe and then wrap your fingers around your toe. You have your strap, place them around, and then work your leg towards straight. The good thing about the loop is you can rest your hands in the loop. If you don't have a loop, you just kind of grab your strap wherever you can. So straighten your left leg, bringing your left leg in towards your face, resting your shoulders and back and head on your mat. Options, stay here or extend your right leg straight along your mat. And this is going to be a little bit more difficult. If you have your right leg straight, tack it down. So tone the thigh there and press it into your mat. So you keep it rooted on your mat. Or you can just keep it bent with your foot on the mat. So don't go beyond your capacity. This is a lot in the back of the leg. Breathe. And then rebend the left knee and bring your left knee out to the side. So you're opening in the hip and making sure that your ankle and your knee are all in one line. And maybe stay here or bringing your left knee towards your left shoulder and then extending that leg out to the side. You may have to adjust your strap. Bringing your right hand out to the side or keeping it on your right thigh, reminding it to stay down. This is similar to a pose we can do standing. But this takes the balance out of it, so you can really focus on the stretch. Bring that leg back to center. Release your strap. Grab your calf muscle. Bring your right leg just above your mat. Bring your forehead towards your shin. And then release. And bend both knees and feet to your mat. Okay. Right knee in towards your chest. Option, first 2 fingers and thumb around your big toe and clamp your thumb to your finger, or bring your strap just to the ball of your foot. Straighten that leg. If you have the reach or to use your finger and your thumb, your shoulder does come off your mat there, and that's okay. Even with your strap, it can come off your mat. Option to straighten your left leg along your mat and keep it toned and pressing into your mat. Full deep breath in and exhale out, and then rebend that knee and bringing it out to the right. So we're opening in the hip. And then stay here, work here, or extend that right leg straight out to the right. So straightening the knee. Again, trying to keep the left leg tacked down to your mat. This is a lot for your hamstrings, for my hamstrings. So keep breathing. Trying to soften in the pose. And then rebend that knee, bringing it back to center. Grab a hold of your calf. Lift your chest, lift your head. Left leg to a hover, bringing your forehead towards your shin. Full breath in and exhale, bringing your feet down to your mat. Set your strap aside. And then bring your hands just under your thighs and rock a little bit to sit upright. From here, I'm going to go into half Lord of the Fishes. So lift your chest, left hand just outside your left hip, lean onto your left hip and swing your legs back so your heels are towards your bum. The top of your right foot is going to go in the crease or the arch of your left foot. So knees are staggered towards the front of your mat. Lift your chest, right hand just on the outside of your left thigh, and then left hand behind you for a gentle twist. You can gaze forward to the side or back behind you. There's also an option to bring your left hand to your left hip. And then come back through center, shift your feet forward, and then right hand to the side on your right hip and switch. So the top of your left foot is in the arch of your right. Knees are staggered. Lift your chest and then twist gently over to the right. Gaze forward, gaze behind you. Again, option to take your right hand, maybe grab your left hip or thigh. Few deep breaths here. And then release, come back to center. Extend your legs long on your mat. Option, keep a small bend in your knees for one last stretch. So lift and lengthen first, and then think head beyond your toes, chest towards the top of your toes. Maybe grab the pinky toe edge of your feet, and maybe working your legs towards straight. When you get to your limit or your capacity, you round your back evenly, bringing your forehead towards your shins. You have your toes, don't pull back a lot. Actually press more into your hands. This is west stretch. And then release your feet. And lie down on your back. Come into recline, child's pose. Supta, Balasana, knees towards your shoulders, big toes come to touch. Maybe rock side to side. Starting to set up and relax your body. Set up for Shavasana. And wrap your arms around your knees. Curl up into a little ball. Take a full inhalation. And as you exhale, relax your body, bringing your legs long on your mat, arms by your side, letting your ankles drop out to the sides, palms facing up. Maybe walk your shoulders under towards your spine. And coming into Shavasana, our final pose. Close down your eyes. And relax all the muscles in your body, in your face. Allow your jaw to maybe drop open. Relax the space between your eyebrows, in your chest, hips. And take this time for yourself in this stillness to rest and restore and receive the benefits of your practice today. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some awareness back to your body, making small movements with your toes and your fingers. And you can stay in Shavasana as long as you like, of course, or bending one knee at a time. Rolling to your right. And using the strength of your arms to return to a seated position. And keep your eyes closed or a soft gaze out in front of you. And place your palms together at your heart center And also class with one arm. Feel free to join in. Take a full inhale and exhale out. And inhale once again. Bring your chin to your chest. And in honor of yourselves, each other, and this practice, namaste. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for practicing. And enjoy the beautiful mountains today. We don't get to see that much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.